ACC final between Boston College and North Carolina. Belle Smith in perfect position. Sam Connors somehow got the hands free. North Carolina in front. Brownie stings the corner. The top-seeded Tar Heels are national champions. Oh, that is the perfect mood setter for today's rematch of that epic showdown in last year's title game. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. We welcome you to Dorrance Field in Chapel Hill, where the #1 North Carolina Tar Heels look to defend their crown against #4 Boston College. Revenge on the mind of Rachel Hall and the Eagles. Hi, everybody. Alongside the Hall of Famer, Sheehan Stanwyck Birch, I'm Jay Alter. This is going to be epic because it always is. These two teams, it's really turned in to the best rivalry in the sport. Both of these teams and fans circle this game on their calendar.
They certainly do, and lucky for us and the fans, we can usually get to see these teams a couple times a year. Regular season, ACC tournament, and in the past few years in the NCAA tournament, so always a tough battle.
Yeah, it really could be the first of 3 meetings. That's been the trend for these last couple of years. We showed up to Dorrance Field. We were greeted with this breaking news. Caitlin Wurzberger, North Carolina's go-to player, out with an ankle injury. So, Sheehan, who has to step up with Wurzberger out?
Well, a lot of people are going to need to fill her role, but Riley Casey, #7, is going to be one of them. The junior, 9 goals, 11 assists, leads the team in distributing. She really works well from the right-hand side. Look for her to find Marissa White and some other players as they make up for the hole that not having Caitlin Wurzberger, the leader of this offense, in the game.
And who do you have your eye on for Boston College?
I've been really impressed with Mckenna Davis this year. She was a good scorer last year, but kind of buried between all the superstars that BC had. She has emerged this year on fire. She's got a left hand, excellent vision. She's so quick, really skilled at finding that next pass, really just finding the holes in the spaces and making this whole BC offense shine.
And we are ready to go in Chapel Hill. North Carolina in the home white, Boston College in the maroon and gold. A rematch of last year's epic All-ACC National Championship is about to begin. Sophie Student in the draw control circle for North Carolina. It's Ryan Smith at the draw for Boston College. And we are underway. These games between these two teams over the last few years have a way of producing classics. Buckle up. Usually a 1-goal game, Sheehan.
It's been crazy, just the back and forth battle and the history that these two teams have with each other. So fun. UNC completely undefeated season last year, so BC definitely has some things that they want to make up for.
And for North Carolina, 44 straight regular season wins. Their last regular season home loss more than 1,400 days ago against this Boston College team. So different faces seemingly every year, but this program just has a way of winning in the regular season and in the postseason for that matter. The one returning weapon on the offensive end for North Carolina coming into the year was Caitlin Wurzberger. She's out with the ankle injury, so this is really the Tar Heels' first test without the safety net of Wurzberger. Here's the freshman, Marissa White, opens the scoring. What a great individual effort by the freshman superstar, Marissa White.
We knew some other names were going to need to step up. Marissa White has been stepping up all season. When you give her space and room, she's able to just attack the cage, finds the net. There's not much of a hole that Rachel Hall left. She's hugging that pipe right here. White's able to switch to the left-hand side, gets a little bit in, an excellent bouncer. Really been impressed with this skill set of Marissa White, just a freshman and making her mark on this UNC team.
North Carolina head coach Jenny Levy told us about the freshman White. She really reminds her of Jamie Ortega. Pure finisher, makes hard plays look easy. And to heap that praise of a multiple-time All-American on a freshman, speaks volumes.
Yeah, the all-time leading scorer in UNC history, amazing. When you watch Marissa White, she'll cut to the inside the 8-meter and catch similar to how Jamie Ortega used to do, and she'll be falling to the ground. She can finish so easily. really makes it look so skilled and easy. And such high praise we mentioned to the great Jamie Ortega.
Sophie Student wins the draw there for North Carolina, transferred in from Virginia Tech, so stayed in the ACC.
She's been a welcome addition too, because UNC graduated Ali Mastriani, who was such an integral part of that draw team.
But both of these teams, you had no idea what the draw control circle was going to look like. Boston College, obviously, losing Charlotte North, and Acacia Walker's told us a lot has been made out of North's departure. The biggest hole she left was at the draw.
Which is so crazy. I mean, you think you'd be looking to her scoring, which is hard enough to make up with the amount of goals she put in, but she was a force at the draw control, could win it to herself, could place, great communication. But Ryan Smith has really done an excellent job this season for BC. However, UNC has the upper hand today so far. Great ball movement for UNC. Excellent job just creating the shooting space foul.
Not a great angle on the 8-meter for Alyssa Long. North Carolina struggled on free positions in their last game against Virginia Tech. Just 1 of 9 on 8-meter opportunities. Jenny Levy telling us that has to improve. Long with an opportunity. Draws another whistle.
She's going to get a better hash mark. They're going to call for a push against Boston College. So get repositioned to the hash mark closest to where the foul occurred. So watch this check across the body also. Cassie Weeks will go 4 meters behind.
Two-way midfielder for Boston College. Long, one-on-one with Hall. Darts in, now decides to pull it back out, finds Scanoni. She's dangerous, a bouncer off the mark. Staying with the play, a lot of contact, and North Carolina comes up with the ground ball. Hall to the rescue.
Nice stop for Rachel Hall. Really wish that Hellman had taken one more step there to get a bit of an angle.
That's where North Carolina will miss Wurzburger the most, behind the cage.
That's where she really operated. Such great vision there, opening things up. And when you played her as a passer and really kind of tried to take away that pass, then she'd attack you to go to cage. So a huge threat that most teams were really scouting Wurzburger as the person that they needed to stop.
Boston College's first settled offensive opportunity of the game, and it took nearly 3 minutes to create this opportunity. It's been one-way traffic for North Carolina to start. Here's Cassidy Weeks. Settled with Davis behind the cage. 30 seconds left on the shot clock.
Great defense for UNC, really marking up the off-ball players. Excellent one-on-one defense on Medjid.
Tried to squeeze it in. Shot clock down to 8. Here's Martello. Not much time left. Quick feed right at the end of the shot clock, and it squeezes past Nicholas.
It looks like I thought one official looked like she called a goal, but then they called it off.
It was I was watching the official behind the cage who did point to a goal.
Now, if you release the shot before the shot clock expired, that should be able to count. You can see Kayla Martello look at the shot clock to assess what she had. Davis gets it inside to Smith here. Look at the clock.
Oh, that is so close.
So close.
Looks like by the finest of out of the back for North Carolina. You mentioned it, but a terrific defensive effort. Brooklyn Walker-Welsh all over Jen Medjid. North Carolina, a lot of new faces, but not on that defensive end. You return the likes of Emily Knowles, Gabby Hall, Brooklyn Walker-Welsh, Julia Dorsey steps in. It's a very veteran unit.
Yeah, I've liked seeing Julia Dorsey, who's the two-sport athlete here at Carolina, plays soccer as well, such a superstar, playing more defensively. She's got excellent speed. They're utilizing her more on the defensive end.
I'll tell you this, she's the only person on the planet that played in 2 national championships in the year 2022. One with the lacrosse team, of course, and then lost in overtime to UCLA on the soccer field this fall. This is Riley Casey. Both teams really valuing possession, running the shot clock deep, not forcing that first shot they can take.
I think that's a credit to both defenses. They're making it hard to find really open lanes. Hard to get that pass off. They're working the dodges.
Kaylee Harden, the freshman, under 10 on the timer. Tried to flip it to Newman. Shot clock down to 2, and Schleicher scoops it up for Boston College.
We learned last year they call Holly Schleicher the Roomba.
Yeah.
We were calling her Miss Pac-Man, just gobbling up the balls inside the field. But it is amazing when the ball is on the grass or the turf. She's got a nose for it.
Yeah, 28 in maroon and gold. If there's a ground ball, she's likely going to come up with it. I'll stop using the term 50-50 balls with Schleicher because they're really 70-30 balls.
She is small out there, but mighty. Just such a nose for the ball, winning it.
Cassidy Weeks determined, inches away. Nicholas outlets to Knowles, and North Carolina can launch into attack. So dangerous in transition, this Tar Heels team. Here's the freshman White. She's got the lone goal to start this game. Doesn't go to goal there. Really good look inside. Kylie Motis. Too much high heat there.
Rachel Hall's been making some good saves, hugging that pipe. So if you're UNC, you're going to either want to switch your hands and shoot around her or move her a little bit off the pipe, because she's been able to just standing strong and getting saves on that left-hand side of the cage.
Hall was the hero in that 2021 semifinal to beat North Carolina and ultimately win that national championship. Now in her final year in Chestnut Hill. Very reliable goalkeeper. It's funny, they've been doing a platoon of sorts. The freshman Shea Dolce has taken time in goal, but last week against Duke, it was all Hall, and she delivered.
Great ACC conference win for Boston College. Dominated on the draw control. Rachel Hall played great. Got ACC Player of the Week. Really an unforced error on the end line. So just we've seen some shot clock violations, some just unforced errors, just uncharacteristic. But a lot is on the line. Even though they were still in March and talking to both coaches, they know there's a lot of pressure. Both these teams want to win every single game, but they realize that they could see each other a couple times. And they're looking to really embracing the fact of playing a top team just to make sure that they can see if there's any weaknesses that are exposed, how they can get better.
This does not feel like a early March game. It really does not.
It always, when they meet, it's like that playoff feel
Yeah.
when these two teams get on the field, and the emotions are there. So much history.
Boston College enters 3-1 on the season. Tough loss to Northwestern, 15-14, and then a huge bounce back win against Duke. They're on the road again here in North Carolina. Nicholas looks really confident in cage for the Tar Heels. She's stepping into huge shoes left by Taylor Marino, and she's filled them beautifully to start her sophomore campaign.
I like when Emily Knowles, a defender for UNC, #1, comes into the offensive end.
Although that time, offsides.
Yeah, so that's just all about communication. When you see a defender go over, you need to make sure somebody else stays back. And when she goes over, she's got great speed, usually dishes the ball off, but can start the offense going.
Boston College has only attempted 2 shots in this first quarter. That's really unlike them. They're a high-volume team. Belle Smith dispossessed. She lost the stick.
Ellie Trajo with that amazing check. There's something about that feels really good when you make that clean contact, stick comes loose, and then you get possession.
Another freshman starring for this young North Carolina team.
You know, with Caitlin Wurzberger being out of this game, usually for UNC, you'll find her behind the cage, distributing the ball. Her head is always up. She's learned from some of the greats of this UNC program. Katie Hogue, Jamie Ortega. Second in the team in points this year. So Riley Casey leads the team in assists. So that's a great take.
That gets through Rachel Hall. Got a piece of it, but could not keep it out. Sophie Student cashes in, and it's 2-0 North Carolina.
This starts on the defensive end. Excellent stick check here from Trajo. It transitions down the other end, and Sophie Student, the Virginia Tech transfer, excellent footwork, and slips it past Rachel Hall. UNC with a 2-0 lead.
North Carolina, an early 2-0 lead over Boston College. She and Stanley Birch. Jay Alter with you. You know, a lot of people focused on what Boston College has lost in Charlotte North, and admittedly, for good reason. One of the best to ever play the game. But she and this Eagles team, they return a lot of championship experience.
Well, it's amazing. Boston College has been through to the last 5 NCAA championship games, and you can't buy that experience, but Acacia Walker told us it is so key, and to have that confidence. So you look at that one player, Melanie Welsh, with 4 national championship game experiences, and then the players, 16 players with 2 games. Just getting there, it takes a different level, and I think once a program's able to make it to championship weekend, you elevate the program basically for the future of that program. You understand what it takes in terms of leadership, what it takes in terms of devotion, so it's huge to have that many players have been to the Final Four weekend.
Well, you set that standard, right? And that's then to be expected year in and year out.
That is the ultimate. It's everyone's goal, but you know that you can get there, so it really just takes it to another level. And there's something about, there's a way that teams can repeat, even though it's so hard to do.
You know, you see North Carolina, 26-game win streak. The last loss was to Boston College in that 2021 semifinal. I'll take it a step further. North Carolina has won 61 out of their last 63 games. The 2 losses to Boston College in semifinals. It's incredible.
And that's really what fueled this Carolina team last year. That loss to Boston College, that was on their mind all last season as they ended the season undefeated. But that loss in the semifinals stayed with them from 2021. So made the 2022 win ever so sweet.
And now do you switch that mentality because of the national championship a year ago? So many players from that team returned for BC. Revenge has to be on the mind coming into this game.
You know it is. Even though they have to try to downplay it, but you definitely know that these 2 teams, their programs, their goal is to win the national championship, to win the ACC championship. And they're not forgetting a moment from that weekend in Baltimore.
North Carolina's defense is dialed in to start this game. Boston College has only attempted 2 shots. They have 3 turnovers, so more turnovers than shots in this game. Medjid trying to wiggle free. Finally draws a whistle.
That's what they're going to have to do against this defense, is try to draw the foul. So somehow try to penetrate in. Medjid was finally able to get a step free off of Brooklyn Walker-Welsh, who's playing excellent defense. One of the things that stood out to me for this BC team when they played Duke was their pinpoint passing. I thought their vision was excellent, finding open cutters. The off-ball players are focused on ball and girl and not allowing any separation, which is really making it difficult for Boston College.
Medjid finally breaks through for Boston College. Perfectly placed for the most experienced Eagle. That's exactly what BC needed.
The 8 meters are so key in the sport of women's lacrosse. Medjid is one of the best shooters in the game. excellent vision. She was not able to work her one-on-one matchups, but gets the 8 meters, able to take a couple quick steps in. This is an area, the 8 meters, are an area that both these teams have struggled through early on in the season. BC shooting under 35% on their 8 meters, and Carolina at 28%. We look at Jen Medjid, her numbers, 183 career goals. The grad student has brought such leadership. Was more of a quiet leader and just kind of did the job her freshman year, and has really emerged into that vocal leader. Her Acacia Walker tells us that she runs the huddles. Such a great vocal leader now, as well as one on the field.
Does that vocal leadership come with experience? You know, we were just talking about 4 national championships she's been to.
Yes, totally. I think it's, you know, one of those things, obviously the personality, it all depends on how you're wired, but for a player like Medjid, when she came in, you know, she's playing with the likes of Sam Apuzzo and some of the greats. It's hard to have a voice in there, so you have to kind of absorb and learn. And then as you get older, more experienced, the confidence, I think it's much easier. And she's a rock star player, so who doesn't want to hear what she has to say?
And that's what's so interesting about North Carolina. You wonder who is the vocal leader of this team, particularly with Caitlin Wurzberger out, because she had stepped up into that leadership role. But a team of a lot of new faces playing together for the first time this season, and yet early on, you're the #1 team in the country. You're playing such a competitive schedule.
Yeah, it's going to have a hole not having Wurzberger in here, but Carolina's been working the dodge, not relying on the assisted goals.
Scales all over White. That's going to be a matchup to keep an eye out all afternoon.
Looks like it's a 3-second violation. Sophie Student has the ball.
Now, this is the 3rd 8-meter opportunity for North Carolina in the first quarter. They didn't go to goal on either of the first 2. Student this time does go to goal, and she cashes in. Sophie Student, her 2nd goal of this opening quarter.
Back-to-back goals. Sophie Student really settling into her new position here at UNC. Watch her explode and just find the sliver of space. When you're going against it, oftentimes the goalies will bait you to shoot to their stick side. Hall doesn't leave much room on her non-stick side, but Student's able to fire that in. 4th goal this season. At Virginia Tech, such a strong player, really was 80 draw controls for Virginia Tech, 38 goals. She's just a, you know, an impact player all over the field, can get caused turnovers. Jenny Levy telling us that she's been so proud of her really ability to come into this program. She missed a lot of the fall with some sickness and injury. She really feels like she's just getting her feet underneath of her.
And because Student just scored the goal, she's out for this draw control. So it's the young freshman, Kaylee Harden, out of New Canaan, Connecticut. Jenny Levy telling us she is the traditional Carolina midfielder. And she wins the draw. You asked Jenny Levy, when's the last time you played so many freshmen? This is a Carolina team that's been dominated by the same names, seemingly, over the last 4 or 5 years. And she said coming out of that 2017 season into 2018, that group of freshmen then kind of grew up together, and it resulted in a national championship a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, the town. Jamie Ortega being one of those freshmen. Scotty Rose Brownie, just so many stars. Ali Mastriani.
Taylor Marino in goal.
And those were the names we called for the next 4 to 5 years. It was, sometimes you have those years where you just have a graduating class, just opens it up, and this is an extremely strong freshman class.
Riley Casey curling around the cage, met well. Hunter Roman, great defense there. Now here's Humphrey. Spun into a double team and a foul call.
Just watch the second defender coming in here. They call for a hold on that for Hunter Roman. And she will go 4 meters behind.
Humphrey one-on-one with Hall. Bouncer, and it goes. Hall went low, and Humphrey beautifully executed. North Carolina a 4-1 lead on 4 unassisted goals.
Right off the 8-meter. Look at that high bouncer, just very tricky for Rachel Hall to have to follow. She goes down, and that ball just hits basically the top crossbar. 2 8-meter goals for UNC. Scoring off the dodge, getting it done on the 8-meter. 3rd goal this season for Humphrey.
We asked Jenny Levy down on the sideline, who steps up for Caitlin Wurzberger? A surprise injury, out with the ankle. She's the quarterback of this offense. And she said, look, we're going to need everybody to step up. It's not just one player. Kaylee Harden stays in the draw control circle for North Carolina. Won the draw for the Tar Heels and then cashed in on that possession. Feels like North Carolina's really dominating possession in this opening quarter.
Yeah, they've been able to get some unforced errors, winning the draw control. Let's see if they can stay with this. This was going to be a huge area of focus for both these teams. I'm surprised that BC, usually their circle players are able to win those balls when they come out to the outside of that draw circle. They were so dominant against Duke. UNC with the lead 4-2 against Boston College.
In the draw. 4-1 on the scoreboard, and it feels like Boston College, 3 shots and really not any good opportunities outside of the 1 free position Medjid had. And the shot clock is off, so 1 final possession here for Carolina at the end of the first quarter. Has it impressed you how fluid this offense looks without Wurzberger out there?
Yes, I mean, it was news to us, news to everyone on the sideline to see Wurzberger in the boot today, and how was UNC going to have to react? You'd think it'd make the Boston College job much easier not having her in there. Good feed there.
Olivia Dirks corrals it. 5 seconds left at the end of the quarter. Dirks shovels it in! What an individual effort by Olivia Dirks. Scores with 2.3 left in the quarter. It's 5-1 Tar Heels.
Yeah, the Tar Heels scoring in different ways. Caroline Codine was able to kind of start that one going with the feed inside, and while Dirks is able to pick that up, weasels her way into the inside. Dirks has been battling a little bit of an injury here, but back at full strength. This is one that I think Rachel Hall is going to want back. And she's calling for a crease call there. It does look like she stepped inside the crease. It looks like she got into that goal circle area. But what a way to end this first quarter. We saw Dirks briefly in the Virginia Tech game last Friday. She came in and she scored right away, then came out. Let's watch her feet. If she touches the blue paint, that's inside the goal circle. She's on the blue paint. So Hall saw that and again. So we don't have the replay there for the officials to look at, but that is a violation.
It'll count, though, and make it 5-1 North Carolina. And for Boston College, 1 goal in a quarter is a season low for any quarter they've played so far this season. And this is a high-scoring team. And not only did they just score 1 goal, they didn't get many opportunities in the first 15 minutes.
Really no chance to get into a rhythm. North Carolina was able to dominate possession and working the ball offense and having many people step up in Caitlin Wurzberger's absence.
Well, usually you learn that you should never be surprised, and yet at the end of this first quarter, 5-1 North Carolina. She and Stanward Birch, Jay Alterwithia. We went to break, we looked at each other and said, didn't really see this coming. It's always a close game between these 2 teams. North Carolina with no Caitlin Wurzberger, and yet no problem for the Tar Heels to start.
Yeah, they exploded. 5 goals, just 4 different goal scorers out there for UNC, scoring in multiple different ways and limiting this BC offense, which I thought looked really phenomenal in their last game against Duke, sharing the ball. UNC on the draw control, having the advantage there. And Rachel Hall having a tough day. UNC shooters are shooting for the seams. Hall just with 1 save and 5 goals against.
That first quarter ties the most goals Boston College has allowed in a quarter this season. That was the 3rd quarter in the loss to Northwestern. Hall does run out for the 2nd quarter. Acacia Walker told us they do feel confident in the freshman Shea Dolce in goal. But it stays with Hall. Too early to make a change, maybe?
You know, sometimes it's not the goalie's situation, but sometimes
right.
You pull the goalie just so the defense reacts differently. Hall's a great communicator, has so much experience in there. So, you know, you could be just challenging the defense to step up, really mark better, try to keep UNC off the 8-meter. But essentially, the offense needs to do their job and get the ball.
Abby Harrod in the draw control circle for Boston College, so that's a change. Ryan Smith, who was excellent against Maddie Jenner, the all-time draw leader for Duke, outdrew her 20-9 in the circle, and yet.
And I think that's smart to make a switch there, because sometimes you just match up to the way that the height differential, the sticks that you're using, just the different techniques just sometimes don't work that great against a different player. So mix the personnel up.
Well, Harrod brings some height. The freshman, 5'7".
She's one of those players. She'll take the draw, run off, and switch off.
It was in Harrod's stick for a second. She draws the foul. Boston College ball, and that's what they lacked in that first quarter. They just barely had possession. I'd ask you, what do you want to see more from them offensively, but they only had 2 or 3 possessions in that first quarter.
Yeah, not a lot of time for them to do anything. UNC marking up so tightly, able to get the 1 magic goal on a free position shot.
Here's Belle Smith. Martello's been really quiet, 38 in maroon. She's the Eagles' leading goal scorer with 16.
And not many touches.
Has it here. Could she spring BC to life at the start of this second quarter? A clear out for Martello on the run. Goes to goal and it's saved. Alecia Nicholas.
Love the take, not the shot. Just when you want to mix it up, Alecia Nicholas has been strong up high especially.
North Carolina with all the momentum. Dangerous in transition. They're piling on the pressure, going a little too fast there. Schleicher can take it away for BC. Passes to her cousin, Belle Smith, and now Boston College will settle on the offensive end.
So UNC, excellent one-on-one defense, making it really hard for BC to get a step, and also not sending a slide, so there's not somebody open to pass out of it. So when they're not able to advance out of the one-on-one dodge, there's no one for them to pass to, just they're looking for an outlet pass this time.
Yeah, how good has Brooklyn Walker-Welsh been on Jen Medjid so far today? 45 in white, putting on a clinic. And there's Julia Dorsey intercepting that pass. Talked about Dorsey earlier, 2-time national champion here in North Carolina. They do such a great job, not just in women's lacrosse, but every sport. Plays on the soccer team as well as the lacrosse team. The University of National Championships is what many people think UNC stands for.
Dorsey, just such an amazing story. A soccer starter defender, had the game-winning goal in the semifinals to send the Tar Heels to the championship this year.
Great take inside, and it's all North Carolina. Nicole Humphrey notches her second goal of the afternoon.
Another turnover on the BC end that leads to a UNC goal. Julia Dorsey gets this in transition, and Humphrey, just watch the off-ball players cutting through, creating space, and Humphrey's able to get to the inside. That's what you want to do as an attacker. Increase your angle. Draw your defender to one side, cut to the inside. The great switch of the hands here. She does a slight dip with her shoulders, and then fires high. So the deception there works with the score. Got to move the goalie either with a head fake, your stick fake, shoulders, something, be deceptive. This is Boston College's largest deficit of this season.
Down 6-1. Acacia Walker means business. Just turned the hat backwards. Jackets coming off too. This is not the way she saw the start to this game going. Boston College sticks with Abby Harrod in the draw control circle. Kaylee Harden for North Carolina. So 2 freshmen at the draw right now for these 2 teams.
Oh gosh, it's a costly turnover right there on the sideline.
Brooklyn Walker Welsh with a head of steam. Six goals for North Carolina, but for me, it's the defense and the draw that stole the show for the Tar Heels. You see that 3 in white, and my brain is still trained to say Ortega, but that's the freshman Kylie Motis behind the cage for North Carolina. Now Riley Casey with it. Casey rips one on the run. Motis there to back it up. Would you want the number 3 right after Ortega has it? All-time leading scorer for North Carolina?
I mean, I'm with you. I think of Ortega when I see that number 3. But it's time for, you know, sometimes you just fill into the role. Sometimes you're not given a choice as a freshman.
That's true. Here's Kaylee Harden, another freshman on this North Carolina team. This is a loaded freshman class, and they have shown up in this game. Right on cue, Marissa White adds another goal. Just talking about the freshmen, and White scores her second of the game. It's 7-1 North Carolina.
White has been super impressive. Watch her take this. You give her any space, you got to credit the off-ball players. Here's a little setting a pick play, and she's able to cut to the inside. Excellent switch to the hands. Evades the crease area. Good protection. Boston College has to send the slides earlier. You got to get stick on stick and really just make sure you're playing with your feet. They're getting beat by their feet too much, and these Carolina players are able to get to the inside. 12th goal this season for the superstar freshman Marissa White. She's skilled and scrappy, and this North Carolina team is up 7-1.
North Carolina dialed in on defense, and they've only allowed 1 goal so far.
An excellent one-on-one. The footwork's there, the help in recovery. Just having a nose for the Boston College sticks, coming up with excellent stick checks and turnovers that lead to goals. Really dialed in. Losing Wurzburger to an ankle injury, the UNC defense has stepped up and done their job on the other side of the field. Excellent play, Julia Dorsey, just anticipating that, and then comes up with the ground ball.
7-1 North Carolina, showing why they deserve that #1 ranking. We expected an epic rematch from last year's national championship game. Seems like every time these 2 teams are on the field, it comes down to a 1-goal thriller. And Boston College has a mountain to climb. Largest deficit of the season. If you're Acacia Walker, what do you tell your team?
It's 1 goal at a time. And we saw in the championship weekend how teams can come back. You can score goals so quickly. So this isn't the Boston College team that's been playing all season long. They just have been struggling on offense early on in this game. Take a deep breath, kind of work the ball around, and just find the holes in this UNC defense. They're going to have to start attacking the cage, try to draw the fouls, try to get the slide, create more space. Oh, they're calling a charge against Medjid. Well, that's a huge win for Brooklyn Walker-Welch. She's been playing stellar defense. She's able to draw the charge. Hard to tell from our angle.
North Carolina looking for more. Newman couldn't pick out White. That's a break for Rachel Hall in Boston College. Can't be sloppy in the transition game, though, and they give it right back to North Carolina. Kaylee Harden the takeaway.
And that was just a little miscommunication, players running into each other for Boston College. But you have a turnover, and then you have your goalie make a big save. You got to make sure you take care of the ball. I know that Rachel Hall wanted to get that quick clear out there, but have to have a little bit more patience, especially as you're trying to make the comeback.
And for somebody tuning in that's thinking, well, Boston College doesn't have Charlotte North, this shouldn't be as a surprise. They returned 8 of the 11 starters from that championship game a year ago. They have tons of talent, tons of experience, and this is a shocking result so far. Plenty of time to change it if you're BC, but North Carolina certainly in the driver's seat.
It was a good switch by Boston College with switching up the draw control takers. Abby Herod coming in, and since her coming in, BC now has the edge in possession. However, North Carolina has been able to capitalize on some key turnovers.
Marissa White, a star may be born today in Chapel Hill. That's a first half hat trick. Wow.
If that doesn't remind you of Jamie Ortega, I don't know what does. The ability to find space out of nothing. Watch this clear from Boston College. Could have been a breakaway. And then a quick little bobble, collision here, and UNC sends it back down their way. And once again, in the hands of Marissa White. There is a sea of Boston College jerseys as she gets close to goal. They need to be stick on sticks. You can see them just all kind of running in. You have to slow down, match your stick up, 2 hands on the stick, and get in front of it so that you somehow deflect the shot. Marissa White just makes it look easy, scoring in all different ways. She gets her 3rd score of the day. Oh, so they took the, so it looks like they're taking the goal away. So after each goal is scored, just you see the players drop their sticks. Some have a fancy celebration, some just drop it to the ground. Then they do a pocket check. And if it's deemed illegal, the goal does not count. So beautiful highlight score, but that goal gets taken away.
Wow, so take the goal away. Would have been a hat trick for White. Would have made for an 8th goal for North Carolina, all of them unassisted, by the way. So it's funny. Obviously, after every goal, there's a stick check. I've never seen where the pocket actually is illegal and the goal gets taken off. So does White have to
White has to
adjust her
can't use that stick.
So that
yes,
stick's out for the rest of the game.
That's out to at least halftime, and you can work on it at halftime. Okay. That's why you see players with multiple sticks when they're walking into games in case one breaks, in case it's deemed illegal. And then you just saw that BC gets possession at the draw. So huge swing, but she's not, there's no yellow card or anything issued.
Could that be a momentum swing for Boston College? They need something to cling on to.
I liked Martello's drive right there, and she had a good step, and then you players behind the cage for Boston College that clogged up the space. She wasn't able to get a clean shot off. So BC needs better spacing on offense. You want to make sure you have backup, but you also have to clear out room. See, once again, she had room right there, because the players are clogging it up for UNC defensive players are inside there, making it hard for her to get inside.
Mckenna Davis, 3 in maroon and gold, has been really quiet. Had it for a second, but gave it up. Feed inside, really good look off the pipe, no good. Dorsey battling with Davis, and it's North Carolina ball. So after the illegal stick of Marissa White, Boston College fails to capitalize. We were in Blacksburg a week ago for North Carolina, Virginia Tech. This just feels like a different intensity that North Carolina has brought today.
They look like a different team. They look like a different team we saw them last week just because of so many new faces on the field. shooting much better today. They struggled in shooting against that Virginia Tech, although they came across a really great goalie, freshman goalkeeper Torres for Virginia Tech that was phenomenal, made some excellent stops.
Shot clock under 30.
Nice little bouncer.
So Sophie Student, who scored twice today. Scales called for the foul. That looked clean.
Yeah, it looked like a nice check from our angle, too. You see Sydney Scales not happy with that call, but Student will be on the 8 meter. Take a look here. Watch the check. That looked good to me. But the ref, you can see the official right there. Student's been effective off the 8 meter. She opts not to take that shot.
Tried to find White. Shot clock down to 5. North Carolina will probably just dump this in the corner. No, go to goal. Rachel Hall just got back online. Hunter Roman fouled in the clear attempt. Boston College wants a card. Not going to get one, though.
And I can see why they want that. They should check towards the face, made the stick go towards the head. I'd like to see some better spacing for Boston College. Get the players from behind the cage. Make sure you have backup, but move your defender to the opposite side so you're able to attack the goal without having a double team.
Here's Medjid. Really quiet first half for Jen Medjid. Brooklyn Walker-Welsh has been all over her.
It's great footwork, and they're not sending the double teams, which usually Boston College is very unselfish. They'll pass that ball if they see an open person. You can't find the open person because UNC is marking it so tightly.
Martello, not a lot of room, but fires it home for Boston College. Nicholas got a piece of it, but Martello put too much on it.
This starts with a last-second attempt and a save for Rachel Hall as the shot clock was about to expire. And here, Mckenna Davis. There's the vision we were talking about in the open. That's an unbelievable handle for Kayla Martello. Watch her come to the inside. She's under a lot of pressure. The stick is right in her face. She's able to separate herself. She just goes a step north on the field and is able to fire it. Gets Boston College's first goal in over 14 minutes.
You know, it's interesting. Alecia Nicholas is staring right into the sun as it starts to set here in Chapel Hill. You wonder if that played a factor on that Martello goal.
I think one of the hardest shots for goalies to take is when you have a cutter coming across the middle because you have to move with them. You're looking at the feeder. You got to see who has it. Martello's, she can be screened by the defenders in front of her as a goalkeeper, and then you have to figure out where the shot is. But Martello really impressed with the catch on that pass and the finish. Huge draw.
Andrea Reynolds has it for BC, but spun and lost it. Costly turnovers in this first half for Boston College.
Ellie Trageau, just the freshman, also involved in that. She had that excellent stick check against Belle Smith in the first quarter. Another freshman making an impact for this Tar Heel team.
Seven caused turnovers in this first half for North Carolina. Here's Alyssa Long, decides to duck in and shoot. What a goal! Alyssa Long rings it off the pipe and in. Perfectly placed. and it's 8-2 Tar Heels.
Watch this, the turnover here. Another defensive pickup, which results, they get it down the offensive end for UNC. Crisp passing. And what an unbelievable shot placement. You see Hall, she's on one side of the pipe, and watch the placement for Long. I don't know how she got that in there. It looked, I thought she was gonna miss the cage wide. Rings on the post.
The bench loves it. Some heavy lifting by Alyssa Long of this North Carolina offense without Caitlin Wurzberger on the field. This is an impressive display.
Alyssa Long, just 1 assist in 2021 and 1 assist in 2022. So far this season has beat that, 3 goals and 2 assists on the season for her.
About 24 hours from now in Chapel Hill, all eyes will be in the Dean Dome for North Carolina Duke men's basketball, a great rivalry, one of the best in sports. This Boston College UNC women's lacrosse teams, they're starting to create that history. These last 5 seasons, Boston College has really put themselves as a perennial power. North Carolina with great history, and we expected another epic battle today, and North Carolina starting to separate themselves. They don't want a 1-goal thriller. Caroline Codine and company continue to pour it on.
Another new name for this Tar Heel program, Caroline Codine. Beautiful finish and shot. Look at the placement. Nice roll dodge. Back and forth. That's what you need as an offensive player. Have the patience and time and room. Work your defender. Look to get to the inside. Get a spot. And she makes that shot. She winds up as she's turning. Gets her 3rd goal this season.
And for North Carolina, 2 goals in 26 seconds. 9 goals in this first half. And remember, it could have been 10. 1 marked off for Marissa White having an illegal stick.
6 different goal scorers for this UNC team.
And Caitlin Wurzberger is out.
And which is allowing, I mean, it just shows you the depth of this bench. Wurzberger comes out, and you see more playing time for the Caroline Codine. Some other players filling in the role. Coach Levy telling us that Elizabeth Hillman would step in a little bit, Melissa Scanoni. So allowing other players to step up and shine and quarterback and score in different ways.
Are you as shocked as I am?
Yes. When we saw Wurzberger in the boot right before the game, I thought, I don't know how this offense is going to look without her. And she's been a fixture and a staple out there in terms of leadership. And UNC started winning the draw controls from the get-go. BC's been able to fix that problem a bit. They have a slight edge, but UNC dominating possession and defense of just a lockdown. Not a great angle. This is on the hanging hash of that 8-meter.
Humphrey with 2 goals to her name today. We talked about it earlier. At what point do you think about a goalie switch maybe, just to shake something up for Boston College? We saw them make a switch in the draw control circle. Humphrey cuts in, goes to the left hand, and it beats Hall. It's a hat trick for Nicole Humphrey. Switched it into her left hand. And you have to think about pulling Hall.
No one's getting warmed up on the sideline now for Boston College. But look at this. This felt like an eternity that Humphrey had the ball in her stick. The Boston College defense, you see 4 jerseys right there. Their feet are just kind of a step slow, and they're letting the attackers to get in front of them. Got to stay on that.
Only 2 saves for Hall, and she's allowed 10 in this first half. Shea Dolce, the freshman, juggling.
Getting their hands warmed up. I think they need a reset. The defense needs to be inspired right now. I think you make a goalie switch right now.
And as you said, it's not always about the goaltending itself. It's just trying to create that spark, change something.
Humphrey shouldn't have that goal right there. The Boston College defense has to take ownership of that, and somebody needs to get on her. She was on the hanging hash mark, not a great angle. You got to collapse in and stop that. So definitely not a one player's fault by any means, but sometimes a changing keeper just makes the defense. You know that if someone new is coming in, that you're going to have to respond and really communicate better. Boston College needs a spark.
That's a frustration foul from BC. And we are just 2 goals away from North Carolina for potentially having a running clock in this game. Never thought you would say that between these two teams. They've delivered 1-goal thriller after 1-goal thriller. Each of the last 2 postseasons have come down to the last shot. And yet North Carolina here at home, a dominant first half.
1 minute.
Even without arguably their best player, Caitlin Wurzberger, North Carolina has left no doubt in the opening half hour. Looking for more. And they get more. Rachel Hall clearly rattled. Frustrated.
You can see just the energy and emotion for Carolina. They're feeling it. Everyone getting in on the action.
Hunter Roman telling her goalkeeper to settle.
This is Liv Peichel. The space, just move, and there's just, again, she shoots before the double team gets there. Great shot and placement. Looks like it was in Hall's stick and just falls back in. That's one she wants back. And
she knows it.
Yeah.
And you know, as a former athlete, you know when you're not having a great game.
Yeah, and it can be so frustrating because she saw that in her stick. You want that, and then it just goes in. And Peichel gets her first career goal.
4 goals in less than 2.5 minutes for North Carolina. I think Kaylee Harden has made a big difference at the draw control circle for the Tar Heels as well. Just so many freshmen that have stepped up in key roles this year as the Tar Heels win another draw.
Plenty of time to get a shot off. I was expecting a high-scoring game, so not surprising UNC's put up 11 goals, but very surprised that Boston College's has been held to 2.
Under 10 seconds left in the half. Off the pipe. Inches away from making a double-digit lead, Sheehan. This is not the epic rematch we thought it would be from last year's national championship final.
I expect it to be a much closer game, but the celebration needs to probably be tamed down a bit because this Boston College team has a ton of firepower. Still 30 minutes to go, and we've seen some teams make some pretty amazing comebacks. But North Carolina putting a show on without Caitlin Wurzberger, one of the best players in the nation.
11 goals from 7 different players. You said settle down the celebrations. That sideline has had plenty to celebrate in this first half. It is all Tar Heels defending their national championship crown from a year ago, up 9 at the half. Number 1, North Carolina, showing why in that first half, why they are well deserving of that number 1 ranking. That was a dominant first 30 minutes. Sheehan, an 11-2 lead. What stood out to you?
Really just UNC's dominance. I thought from end to end, the defensive plays on offense, just attacking the cage hard, and the multiple scores. Without Caitlin Wurzberger in here, I thought this was going to be a much closer game that would play into BC's favor, and it has not this first half.
It really started on the defensive end. You limit this BC team, who is so talented offensively, to just 2 goals in that first half.
I've been impressed all season with Boston College's. They're sharing the ball, they're pinpoint passing, the movement, and today UNC has just been a step quicker on the defensive end, coming up with stick checks, getting their sticks in the right place, getting those caused turnovers, anticipating the plays, and then delivering the ball down the offense. UNC defense has really shined today.
And then on the offensive end, no Caitlin Wurzberger out with an ankle injury. No problem.
No problem. You've got players like Nicole Humphrey chipping in 3 goals, Marissa White with 2, multiple different players. The freshman stepping up, Caroline Codine getting a score. Just a really impressive play. Alyssa Long with a beautiful post goal. There's been a bevy of players scoring from UNC, helping out in the absence of not having Caitlin Wurzberger, a huge distributor for this Carolina offense.
Frustrating first half for Boston College, particularly goalkeeper Rachel Hall, and there is a goalie change. The freshman Shea Dolce will be in cage for Boston College. You felt like the Eagles needed to do this.
I think that's a good move, just to get the defense to kind of reset. Look, even though Rachel Hall, she has been said that she is the starter by her coaching staff, they've got a ton of confidence in here, but sometimes you're just not seeing the ball well, and I think the defense as a whole needs to respond, and Shea Dolce has gotten high praise from the coaching staff and says that sometimes they like to bring her in, sometimes she can be the closer. Got a little different stage, plays the angles differently. And their plan is really to play both goalies, but Hall just with 2 saves in that first half, definitely a good time to make the switch, if not even earlier. I really think that maybe they could have made that switch earlier in that first half.
Well, just a freshman, but a top recruit. And Boston College's coaching staff has a lot of confidence in Dolce. Could that be the catalyst for what would be an epic comeback on the road, trailing by 9? And remember, 1 goal for North Carolina, and Boston College would have to start worrying about the clock. It would go running clock, and the clock becomes your enemy when you're trying to make a comeback.
Boston College just with Jen Medjid with 1 score, Kayla Martello with the other.
Brought it up in the first half, but a lot of people could be tuning in and thinking, well, Charlotte North, you expect less goals, but this is a really talented team. Even with the absence of North, they just have not played their best.
I mean, you just see right there, they have the ball on offense, go for a dodge, and then they turn it right over. So very uncharacteristic for this Boston College team. And when you watch them play all season long, they do have the loss to Northwestern. Northwestern is super talented. And that was a great game. Boston College was the lead for much of that game, and Northwestern was able to come back. Izzy Skane really caught fire in that second half for Northwestern. But this Boston College team has been very tough all season.
Thought they had a really good effort watching that Duke game, where they won handily, dominated the draw, looked good offensively, but that same team did not show up to Chapel Hill in that first half. If you're North Carolina, how do you avoid being complacent with this 9-goal lead?
I don't think they will be. I think that is one problem they've learned throughout the time they've been here in Chapel Hill, is you just keep on piling on the scoring. One of the top scoring offenses in the nation last season, and they know this Boston College team. They will not, I think, will not take their foot off the gas.
Shot clock was down to 3, now down to 2 on the restart, so North Carolina may just dump this to the corner.
And that's a smart move. You just want to throw it out before the clock expires. Good job there. Don't want to get a delay of game if you hold on to it too long. And then that allows you to get back on defense.
So Shea Dolce doesn't have to make a save on that first possession in between the pipes, but as you said, sometimes just seeing a new face in goal can change the way the defense plays in front of them. Belle Smith, oh, she willed that in. What a great individual effort by the junior Belle Smith. That is the firepower Boston College has been looking for.
She's one of the big leaders. Played a huge role since her freshman year for Boston College. Does a little bit of everything as a midfielder. Can score, come up with the calls, turnovers, attacks the cage hard. And she just wills herself into that. She feels the pressure, handles it, and just gets her hands and arms free away from the space and able to fire that one in.
Boy, did BC and Belle Smith need that goal, Sheehan.
I mean, when you look at the stats right now, UNC has 20 shots, so they're shooting 11 for 20 pretty good. Boston College has been limited just to 8 shots. You've got to give a huge amount of credit for this Carolina defense. Yes, Boston College, lost with graduation Charlotte North on their offensive end, but they were returning All-Americans, Jen Medjid, some huge goal scorers. Kayla Martello's had a major year. Mckenna Davis has been strong, and Belle Smith always chips in goals. But Cassidy, Courtney Weeks back this year from injury. They have the piece of the puzzle to fill in the scoring. Just not been given a lot of opportunities.
Question is, can Boston College start stringing them together? They have a mountain to climb in this second half, trailed by 9 before that Belle Smith goal. Here's Smith again, hands free. Saved! Alecia Nicholas hasn't had too much to do against Boston College, but a big save there to deny the near post.
I like when she's making those saves. She picks the ball, she does a really quick clear. So you've got to, the defenders are doing an excellent job cutting into space, making sure that their outlet pass. No one stops and celebrates and relaxes. They immediately cut into space. Nicholas is able to get that, and they're able to transition downfield.
Here's Olivia Dirks. Tried to thread the needle, intercepted. Sydney Scales has it. Junior tosses it ahead. Maybe Boston College can get something in transition, but not with passes like that. And there's just been too many turnovers today for the Eagles. Marissa White, almost like a hockey player, scooting it up, and it's intercepted by Hunter Roman. Chaotic sequence, and now Boston College can settle it down.
I think the mentality of your Boston College coming into the second half is you just got to wipe the slate clean. The first half is not the kind of lacrosse that they want to play offensively or defensively. You come in and you just put out a solid 30 minutes, attack this one by one. You got to learn from the first half, and how are you going to adjust?
The problem is North Carolina and Jenny Levy probably wiped the slate clean too and said, pretend it's 0-0. Took a deflection, so it'll stay Boston College ball midway through the shot clock. The Eagles offense still looking for that jolt. Who's going to provide it? Mckenna Davis has been quiet today.
Some of these feeds inside are just too difficult. Brooklyn Walker-Welsh, great scoop up. Look at the speed.
Shot out of a cannon. Steps on the gas. Motors, that's a big collision. Nicole Humphrey and Hunter Roman, both of them didn't even see each other.
That was hard. It happened at such fast speed. It was hard to see who's where with the spacing.
Both had their eyes on the ball, did not see each other, and just collided, going extremely quickly in transition. They just didn't see each other.
They didn't see each other, but you think the defender needs to give some space, allowing where the ball is going to allow the offensive players to catch the ball. No card issued. And luckily, both players getting up to their feet.
Here's Marissa White. They went in.
I thought the whistle was before the shot.
I thought the whistle was below the shot too, but count the goal. I thought that would have been shooting space violation.
It wasn't. She called the shooting space, and if it's a simultaneous whistle, then the goal should count. But that whistle, in my ears, now it's hard, sounded to me like the whistle came before the shot. So I think that should have been back on the 8 meter. So let's take a look at the replay.
Listen for the whistle. Is she in her windup?
She's in the windup, it doesn't matter. The deal is it's got to be simultaneous, which is very hard to hear, but you can see Shea Dolce after this, she's saying about the whistle. She's trying to fight with the refs, saying, that was not, you can see Acacia Walker having the same conversation.
And you're of the opinion that that was after the whistle? After
the whistle, so should have been, which stinks as you're the offensive player because you make the score. However, when you hear that whistle as a goaltender or a defensive player, there is something about it that makes you stop, which has made the simultaneous whistle hard for defenses to have to adjust to. But I think that should have been called a no goal, and then it would be still a foul, so it would have been an 8 meter. But it's counted, so North Carolina back to a 9-goal differential.
And Codine, another one of these fantastic freshmen. That's what's incredible about this North Carolina team. So many freshmen playing key roles in a huge rivalry game. They know the history. They were in high school watching. That's part of the reason they chose North Carolina to play in games like this and to play with such confidence and skill and unafraid. What do you attribute that to?
I mean, just excellent recruiting because they're getting some of the best in terms of these high school players coming in here. I think, and just the preparation. I mean, you have a fall where you're going against these players. I think they really, some of the culture at these top programs, both Boston College and UNC talk about how they bring the freshmen in and really how they work with them and welcome them in. But it's a big jump to go from the high school game to the college game in the terms of speed, the physicality.
And not rattled at all by the news that Caitlin Wurzberger would be out, their leader. Said even more freshmen have come in, stepped up, and delivered at a huge level. They have left Boston College stunned. A 9-goal lead and looking for more. Swatted away, but nobody scooped it up for BC. Stays with North Carolina and Alyssa Long.
It's like the ball is not bouncing Boston College way. Watch out, here's Holly Schleicher.
Charging in, wins the ball.
And as we've said, when that ball is on the ground, it's usually going to end up in Holly Schleicher's way.
Somehow gets herself in position even when she's 5 yards behind. Incredible.
Look at this defensive pressure right here, just limiting the ride.
Boston College has just never found a rhythm. Even the 3 goals they have scored, it's just been individual efforts. Only 10 shots through 2.5 quarters of this match. It's been dominated by North Carolina since the jump. Belle Smith bounced her wide.
One of the things that's been missing from Boston College's game is those transition goals. We've seen them in transition, however, it's often ended in a turnover. And then UNC's been able to get settled, so Boston College not able to work the numbers.
Magid, too much on it, way off the mark.
She had a good look on Cage. The placement, I think, could have been better. 23 seconds left on the shot clock. Still plenty of time for a good look.
Martello on the move. Bouncer wide again. Now just 10 seconds to operate. Eagles desperate for a goal. Magid trying to get those hands free through traffic, and that's a shot clock violation.
Beautiful use of the field for UNC on the clear.
Nicole Humphrey, who already has a hat trick to her name today. And now Marissa White in attack mode, weaving through traffic. Somebody just got a stick in there late to deny a clear goal scoring opportunity.
I like Marissa White's game. She can attack from either side, switch of the hands, nose for the goal. You can see a foul. This will set Caroline Codine up on the hanging.
She scored from just about this location, even though it's not a great angle. She had just scored from it. Dolce barking orders, the freshman goalie. She's only allowed 1 goal in this third quarter since coming in, and it was to Codine, but Codine decides to pull it out. Kaylee Harden on the move. Almost hit Sydney Scales there. Stays UNC ball. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Quick restart. Eyeing up all the options. Great save, Shea Dolce. Quick off her line, now battling for the ball.
Excellent ground ball. Thought that was going to be a near collision. And another turnover. So Boston College makes an excellent play, goes right back into UNC sticks. I've liked Shea Dolce, though, in this second half. I like her stance in cage. Came out trying to win that ground ball, but the turnovers for Boston College have been just way too costly.
14 turnovers for BC. And North Carolina has made the Eagles pay. Never good when you have more turnovers than shots.
No, and a lot of these turnovers for Boston College have led right into UNC goals.
Three minutes left to this third quarter. All North Carolina looking for a double-digit lead. Who would have thought that coming into today? Last time these two teams saw each other in that 12-11 epic national championship game in Baltimore a year ago. We expected another 1-goal thriller today. Instead, this young, unafraid North Carolina team has stepped up, looking for more, backed up well. Kylie Motis pulls it out. Piling on the pressure. Dolce got a piece of it, but couldn't keep it out. Caroline Codine strikes again, and it's a 10-goal lead for the Tar Heels.
10-goal lead means this clock continues to run. Caroline Codine, another freshman, gets her hands free, gets the score. Carolina's up 10. BC needs to climb its way back.
Wow, a 10-goal lead for #1 North Carolina. Sheehan, we think we know a lot about this sport. Or at least you do. I know you do. We did not see this coming.
Not at all. And I mean, if you're new joining in here, Caitlin Wurzberger, which is a familiar name to all Tar Heel fans and the nation, is not playing today. She's out with the sideline with a boot injury, so the leader of the Carolina offense, and still. But, you know, I think that one of the things that's most surprising to me is the goal scored by BC, just 3. That's part of the reason is the shot differential. BC limited to 13 shots. See the saves just about even. 14 costly turnovers for Boston College. But really on offense, not been able to get into a rhythm at all. And it's funny, when North Carolina, they undefeated season last year, a magical year, win the national championship. A lot of fans were saying, how can they be ranked #1 coming into the season? Even people that are in this Tar Heel program. Why are we not ranked #1? You know, we graduated so much. Does everyone think we're really deserving of this? You see this talent out there.
Oh, they're #1.
They're #1.
This is a statement.
This is a big statement win, and a lot of names, they're no longer going to be hidden. We were calling a lot of names at the start of this season for this Tar Heel team, as freshmen started to emerge and some reserve players stepping into the spotlight. But I think this is a major confidence booster playing without Caitlin Wurzberger. They feel that she will be back soon, just didn't want to test it today.
Last Friday night, only won 10-6 against Virginia Tech. Lacked some offensive rhythm. Today, an offensive explosion. Already 13 goals. Nice ground ball by Sydney Scales.
Heads up play there. You got to really be careful when you get that ground ball. Protect your stick. Excellent stick work for Sydney Scales. BC's had trouble on the clear.
And usually when these two teams play, sure, teams can go on runs, but there's always a punch back. There's always a run coming the other way, and Boston College just has not been able to string together enough possessions to create a run or any sort of momentum for them in this game. Not getting a lot of quality looks on cage.
Yeah, not a lot of shots, and as you said, not a lot of quality shots. So some of those are not on goal.
Brooklyn Walker-Welsh all over Medjed again. Medjed fighting through. Misfires. Under 15 left to the third quarter. Great save, Alecia Nicholas. Her fourth of the afternoon. And North Carolina will head to the fourth quarter with a 10-goal lead. Who would have predicted this after last year's one-goal national championship game? It's the reigning champs dominating. About to begin the fourth quarter here in Chapel Hill. North Carolina, a dominant 10-goal advantage against number 4 Boston College. Assuming they hang on to this big lead, it'll be Jenny Levy's 400th career win. Third all-time, which she has done here in Chapel Hill. So incredible. Started the program from scratch and 3 national championships, 400 wins. It's incredible.
What a milestone. I think a lot of years left coaching too, so can't imagine how many she will add to that list. Inducted into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame too. I mean, she's just an amazing player, coach, winning titles. And look at that, the national championships, Final Four appearances, and the ACC championships.
And their main rival in the ACC over the last 5 seasons has been Boston College. These two teams have created a great rivalry. I mean, a great rivalry is born after thrilling games, postseason battles. They have had that between these two programs. You thought maybe another chapter would be written today, and I suppose a chapter has been written, but a chapter that Boston College would like to rip because it has been all North Carolina.
And it's interesting, we saw the 1-goal game of UNC and BC last year in the regular season up at Boston College, where UNC came out the winner. And then the ACC tournament, where UNC really beat Boston College by quite a bit. And then you get into the the championship game, just a 1-goal game. BC wasn't able to edge them there, but a much closer game. So you learn a lot about yourself. I think BC is going to probably not want to watch this tape, to be quite honest, because I don't think this is their best showing. But they're going to learn and see kind of where they made the mistakes.
Acacia Walker, Boston College head coach, told us that she did not watch the national championship game until September. Knew she eventually had to, but couldn't really stomach it until the fall. A devastating loss. You know, Acacia Walker's been to the last 5 national championships games, but she's only won 1, so 1-4. She said some of those losses I've never gone back and watched. But because they had so many returning players, 8 starters from that team that made the national championship a year ago, she felt like she had to watch it with them. They even did some film review. You know how much this game meant to them, the revenge factor. And they have fallen flat, trailing by 10.
The rule in women's lacrosse is with a 10-goal lead, the clock continues to run, and Boston College needs every bit of time in this to climb back. Definitely did not see this coming. UNC's just been able to dodge their way to score, scoring off the 8-meter. Not doing as many assisted goals, and that was one of like Caitlin Wurzberger's specialties. Works from behind and can find people attacking from X. But UNC hasn't needed to pass. They've been able to find the openings, a beautiful opening inside. Riley Casey's not able to score in that behind the back, but they've been wide open in the center. There hasn't been a reason that they needed to dish the ball.
A lot of contact. That's an offensive foul. Easy call for the officials.
Watch Casey coming across, and you can see her even dip her shoulder a little bit.
You know, Casey's been quiet too. Do you think Wurzberger's out? Okay, Riley Casey's going to be dominant.
You know, just 1 assist for her, only 3 shots. So the other role players have really stepped up. Marissa White, 2 goals. Sophie Student had 2 goals. Nicole Humphrey and Caroline Codine both with 3. Been a real team effort spreading the ball. It's one of the things when we talked to Jenny Levy over the years, she's often said she likes to have multiple players scoring. When you look at their stats, you typically don't see, Jamie Ortega is kind of an outlier of that, but players that have the crazy numbers per game is usually spreading the offense more out, spreading that scoring out.
Yeah, she feels like that's hurt them in the Tewaaraton Award. You don't have that one standout player. What makes North Carolina great is the depth and the balance. We've certainly seen that today. Martello double teamed. This North Carolina defense has been suffocating since the start. All over Boston College. Mejid right into Nicholas. Really quiet game from Cassidy Weeks. Has it here. Trying to fight her way through, and that sails wide.
That's going to be a yellow card on Weeks for the dangerous follow through. So when as an offensive or defensive player, you're in control of your stick. Watch this with Cassidy Weeks. When she turns around, she goes to fire, and it goes. It's hard to tell in that replay for me. I thought it hit her shoulder, but it looked like she grabbed her head. But if you make contact with the player, it will be an automatic yellow card. So now Boston College will be down 2 players, down a player for up to 2 minutes. It is releasable on a Carolina score.
First player up for either team in this game.
And now you can just make Boston College anxious if you're in North Carolina. Possession clock still in effect.
Here's Casey. Easy finish. Riley Casey cashes in on the player-up opportunity, and it's an 11-goal Tar Heel advantage.
Great quick feet for Riley Casey. Gets herself in good positioning. This ball comes back to Casey. Great feed. Cuts to the inside. Excellent finish. Good presence there, and Dolce comes up high on that crease. Casey's got the patience to shoot it around her, gets her 10th goal this season.
All smiles over on that North Carolina sideline. The celebrations have been early and often. Eight different goal scorers for the Tar Heels today.
Just the 2nd assist, and this team has been averaging about 7 assists per game. But as I said, there's been really just a lot of openings for these offensive players. You haven't needed to assist. Haven't seen a ton of double teaming. There's been good spacing for UNC, and pretty much everything they fired has gone on cage.
Obviously, North Carolina has been excellent, no doubt about that. Is this just a rare bad game, off day from Boston College? Delete the tape, or are there things you could do tactically to try and even this matchup up the next time they face each other?
I think this is just a rare off day for Boston College. They look like a different team than the team that I watched on tape against Duke. I think even the ball movement hasn't been there. We've seen some uncharacteristic turnovers, whether they've been on the sideline or just some errant passes. The shooting hasn't necessarily been on point. I think the offense hasn't been able to get into a rhythm, and really it's been just kind of end to end. Not many positive takeaways that Boston College can come away from this game, so it is one of those ones you want to forget about. However, these BC players and the coaching staff knows that they'll likely see this Tar Heel team again in the ACC tournament and in the NCAA tournament if they both get so lucky to advance. So a lot to learn from this, but I'm sure a lot they're going to want to forget too. Melissa Scanoni's got a rocket of a shot.
Bounces it home. Scanoni strikes. (15-3).
Add another scorer's name to the stat sheet. Scanoni usually rips it. She can rip it high. This time she rips it low. The bouncer gets past Shea Dolce. Not much room there, but Scanoni's able to see it. 15-3, Tar Heels are up.
Well, we've talked a lot about the Tar Heels defense, but 15 goals from an offense without Caitlin Wurzberger. What's been the key?
You know, I think it's just been absolute just team chemistry, sharing the ball, everyone stepping up. 9 different goal scorers for UNC. Their defense has been strong, but the offense has just been delivering. So impressive. You know, you lose Caitlin Wurzberger, second on the team in scoring. Coming into this game, she 10 goals, 9 assists. A big distributor, kind of runs the play, the leadership role back there. So we knew that Carolina had talented players, so I'm not shocked that players are stepping up and scoring. But it is amazing to have, take your quarterback and your leader out of there and just see just how they're responding. They came out of the gates so strong, no hesitation. When we were down on the field pregame, we saw Wurzberger in the boot, and she was all high energy. She was cheering on her teammates, smile on her face.
Even Jenny Levy had told us, yes, we're the #1 team in the country. We appreciate that. But this group of girls these group of players haven't proven that they are the #1 team. Well, today they have. They have left no doubt. Shea Baker steps up, rears back. I think Knowles might have gotten a piece of that from behind.
Yeah, it looked like it was slowed down a bit. Another great quick clear from Nicholas. Gets it downfield.
Now, Jenny Levy still has her starters in this game. Wurzberger's out with an injury. At what time do you just want to protect the health of your starting lineup and get them out of this game?
That's a hard conversation to have, because there's part of you that wants to just run up the score and tally this up. And I'm sure
they've ran it up.
And now that you have a running clock, I think you do want to kind of work some substitutions. And it's been a back and forth game. I mean, it's been in the midfield. These players are logging quite a bit of miles.
Well, the result of this game is not in doubt. Just a matter of by how many. Are you surprised Boston College, coming out of halftime, didn't make a run, get back in this game even a little bit?
I am surprised. I mean, if you would have told me to predict a score, it would have been nowhere close to this. Limiting Boston College to 3 goals. They made the goalie change at halftime, inserting Shea Dolce in.
Right on the doorstep. That's just way too easy. A hat trick for Sophie Student, the transfer from Virginia Tech, having an outstanding season.
You see the smiles here. No, there was no let up for UNC. Beautiful. There's an assisting pass. Riley Casey gets that into Sophie Student. Great placement. Excellent passing. No let up for UNC this second half, and Boston College didn't come up with that extra fire that I thought they'd respond with. Made the change in goalies, but just have not been able to find that next level.
Here's what's incredible. We're at halftime, it's 11-2. You're thinking, well, Boston College, 2 goals and a half. You'll never see that again. They only have 1 goal this half.
It's limited the shots, and some of the shots just not the top quality that they would like. Just 10 shots on goal for Boston College compared to 19 for UNC. And Boston College leads in draw control. So, often you say, they've had chances with the possession, but had 3 more turnovers, 14 turnovers for Boston College today. And UNC just been extremely efficient with their shooting, 16 of 31. And what a difference in this Carolina team from last Friday when we saw them play against Virginia Tech, where they struggled to score. They were held to 10 goals.
That's what's been lacking from Boston College. They pull one back in the final minutes here. Make it 16-4.
Lizzie O'Neill will get her first goal of the season. Gets the space, but then she's met with a double team, is able to fire that one off. Gets her stick free. Looks like that goes right between the legs of Alecia Nicholas. And ends that 5-0 scoring run for UNC. But the clock continues to run.
Bailey Horn into the draw control circle for North Carolina. Coming up next for the Tar Heels, they host Virginia and then at Louisville and at Northwestern. Middle of March. That game at Northwestern should be a really fun one. Obviously, epic semifinal. A comeback for the ages by Carolina as they went on to then win the national championship 2 days later. You would think Northwestern has plenty of revenge on the mind, but revenge might not work. Boston College learned that today. They came in with revenge after that national championship loss last May, and they got blown out here in Chapel Hill.
And we've covered this team for a long time. You know that they're going to use this as extra motivation, though, and learn a lot from this and turn this loss into a positive, because they clearly, sometimes we've heard Acacia Walker say in the past, if the team that shows up, sometimes it's not the better team that necessarily wins, but the team that shows up. They've been burned before in the ACC tournament, they felt, in terms of play, but this is a learning lesson for this Boston College team, and I think a huge confidence boost for Carolina, as many new faces getting some real time and minutes against a top program.
.45 seconds left in regulation. The day Boston College will want to forget, but credit down 12, battling to the final whistle. Now that's the best passing of the night, and it leads to a goal for BC. They left it too late.
And that was a beautiful transition plays that BC has had some excellent goals throughout this season. They've not been able to put those on display. Cassidy Weeks gets it into Belle Smith. It goes down to Mckenna Davis, who fires it into Belle Smith, and she's able to slip that one. And the clock is going to wind down, and the Tar Heels get a huge conference victory.
So Boston College scores the final goal of the game through Belle Smith, but only got 5 on the night, and that means it's win number 400 for Jenny Levy, and how sweet that will be A dominant effort, 11-goal victory against their rivals, Boston College. And North Carolina has left no doubt who the best team in the nation is, at least right now.
#1, undefeated, and a real dismantling of this Boston College team. But Boston College, they'll learn from this. They'll get better, but a lot for Carolina to now celebrate about and smile. Huge team effort end to end. Strong all-over play for Jenny Levy's squad. Congratulations to her on 400 wins.
Another milestone for the Hall of Famer Jenny Levy. North Carolina now becomes the clear front runner for the national championship as they try and defend their crown. They certainly defended it today. Boston College outclassed 16-5. You do get the feeling that if and when these teams meet again, it'll be closer than today.
That's what history has told us before. These two teams, some epic games, and today UNC gets the edge.
Lots of celebrations for North Carolina, just the opposite. Frustrations for Rachel Hall in Boston College. North Carolina left no doubt. 16-5 is your final for Sheehan Stanward Birch. Our terrific crew, I'm Jay Alter, saying so long from Chapel Hill.